Chris Young with 80/20 CRM. We're going to talk a little bit about data import tools in Salesforce. So you've got three that I suggest. There's a couple others that you can use out there that are good and powerful. Also, we're going to start with the three most common or basic. The first one, let's actually just jump straight into the org where you usually be. If you hit the import button here, you'll actually see two that show up. I should say two, not the first one. The first option here, import from file. This allows you to import or upload straight from a CSV file. You're just going to upload a file or drop one. Let me just jump into downloads, grab this file here. Next, it's going to ask you to map your fields. There we go. Or skip them. Right, he's going to give you your field options and then start import. Simple as that. So if you've got a pretty clean import, fairly simple, not a lot of complication to it, that's the easy way to do it. It's going to trigger your workflow rules and go through the process pretty easily. So that's available in a few places. Let's go back. Let's look at a slightly more advanced version. So in this case, let's say I want to also map to some lookup fields, maybe owner ID, or map on some other related object fields. And also maybe I want to look at a different object instead of a lead, account and contacts, custom objects available here. Let's show you that. So leads, there we go. Let's say if you want to add new records, it's just going to add new ones. It's not going to try and update any. If you want to update existing records, it's going to try and match on an ID. And the important thing to know there is there are some external IDs throughout the system. We've kind of put them in all the major objects so that you can upsert on an external ID as well as the Salesforce ID. So maybe it's coming from an outside system. Also the name and email, be very careful with name. It has to be unique. If not, you're going to end up with trouble. Same with email. If you have the same email on there multiple times, it might also be a challenge. So we always try and encourage the Salesforce ID or an external unique ID. All right, so that's if you're updating existing, or if you want to add or update. So maybe you've got a set of data, you're not sure which ones are in there, but you've got some IDs. Then you can go ahead and add new and update existing using the same fields, name, email, and IDs. A couple other nice things here. If I want to assign a lead source, I can do that from there. Maybe they all came from a lead source. If I want to use an assignment rule, so that's going to go through my assignment rules, and I could have lots of them in there, looking at different criteria on the lead and assign them appropriately. If I want to use that here, so there's the rule, and then go ahead and trigger it, and that will send a notification. If you want to add them to campaigns, as long as you've got a campaign field identified in there, and then you've got other lookups throughout here. Okay, so these can be mapped to either Salesforce ID, or if there's an external ID on that specific object, it can do that too. Down here, if you want to trigger workflow rules, flows, other processes, click that guy, mark it true, and that will make sure those different processes take off. One that we use, for example, on imports, if we're importing leads that are already opportunities, we'll import them as a lead. We have a flag on there, convert lead, and we'll mark this box and it will go ahead and convert it on import. It's really nice. So we have some Apex code, some code that matches on accounts and contacts and creates several records for you just to speed things up a little. And then the record type, always important. What kind of record type do you want this to be? REI, retail, person account, business account. And so you can identify that there if you don't have it in the sheet, right? So then you just drag or drop or select a CSV file. Choose the same one here, and you can tell it how it's separated. Commas most common, so that's no big deal. Then you can see here we've got a little bit of a sample of our data. We also have the fields that we're mapping. You've got the object field on the left and the CSV header on the right. A couple of important tidbits which we covered in some other videos, but the headers have to be unique. Can't be the same one, it will confuse it. You can map multiple values, and I could add this too. I could add multiple values. Name, however, if you're doing first name and last name, you can't also do name. It'll give you some errors. It'll yell at you a little. It doesn't like that. Let's see, you can see what's not been mapped. State usually needs to be actually the spelled out state on the lead, depending on if it's custom state. If it's a custom pick list state, then using 2-letter code is okay. And anything else? I think that's most of it. I mean, if you've got an owner in here, you've got lead owner right there. You'll notice it's the ID of that owner, which is important, unless we mapped it elsewhere on a name or email or something else. But usually you need to use the ID for any users throughout the system that's going to want the Salesforce ID. And then you can see here also we went ahead and put in the lead record type and mapped that. So you would just hit next, and it's going to verify how it looks, let you know how many fields are mapped or unmapped, and then start the import. And then you'll get into another page that will tell you the status, how many it's loading, and kind of the time frame. And then you'll be able to export these successes and failures and work through that mapping. So those are the two simple ones built into Salesforce. Recommend starting with those for sure. If you're a little more advanced, you want to use something more advanced, then there is what's called Data Loader. Data Loader can be downloaded. If you go just search it, Google search it, you can download Data Loader. And let me get to that link if I can get there. Come on, you can do it. Let's see if it'll take me there. And if not, that's okay. I'll just show you. Okay, so once you've downloaded Data Loader, let's just go ahead and see if we can get that open here. You know what, I'll just open it from Applications, Data Loader right here. Oh, it's one word, duh. Okay, so something important, it's gonna want to know, are you inserting, updating, upserting, which is, you're updating and inserting, or you're deleting. If you're deleting, it just wants one ID field of what you're deleting. So let's say we're inserting. It would ask you to authenticate an org. I've already authenticated. So it's going to ask you, do you want to go to a sandbox? Let me just close it out and show you that. It's just useful to see that. Data Loader. Pull this here. So when I hit insert, it's going to want to know, how do I want to authenticate? OAuth is good. And then do I want production or sandbox? So if I hit sandbox, log in, it's going to take you see test dot right here. And then I'm gonna allow it to connect. I'm already logged in there, which is great. Allow. And if you're not logged in, just log out and log back in. I mean, if it doesn't recognize the right one, you can log out and log back into the org you want, and it will recognize it. And then let's say I was importing leads. So I can select the object. If you don't see it, mark this show all objects. I can browse for a file here. Grab this one. This is the file that we want to upload or import rather. And next, when I do that, it's going to load that file, look at the headers, look at how many records are there, give me a little bit of a snapshot of it, tell me what my limits are. And then I can create my map here. So I can also choose an existing map, which is nice. I don't have one for this file, but I do for others. Or I can just create or edit, which I can auto match. You'll notice it's already done that. I can clear the mapping if I want to, and then maybe auto match again. And then I can just drag and drop them from the top down if I have ones that I want to drag down. So let's say, for example, I want to add mailing state right there. Then I can do that. And then I could hit save map if you want to, give a name and save. I can hit OK. And then next, and that is going to start the import process, and it'll give me the same successes and failures when it's done. So I hope that was helpful. Super quick overview of the 3 different import tools, kind of the basic import wizard, the more advanced import wizard, and then Data Loader. This is Chris Young, 80/20 CRM. Thanks for joining.